How is everybody today? We are in my back alley, like usual, and we're going to talk to the lovely Miranda from High Sprung,
Hi,
one
guys.
of the co-founders of it, and then we're going to hit some bongs.
Hit some bongs. Hit some toes.
You know, we're playing Russian roulette. I received some weed from Dustin McLean out of Edmonton, and I have no idea what the sample is, but
I'm not
it
a picky
smells
smoker, though.
great, and it looks great, and yeah.
It smells really like hashy, actually. Kind of like
It's very purple. I want to shoot this still.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
But yeah, so he is at Nine Lions facility. I get to visit there. It's really fun.
Yeah, you were saying.
Huge, and they propagate a lot.
Yeah, awesome.
And so I've met him from along many of grow ups.
Yeah,
and
you guys have been friends for a while.
He's just fantastic. But so tell me about you. What do you guys? You have a show coming up, an event.
Yeah, so this is our Pride edition. It's our 4th edition of the event, and we're just super excited because every time we try and bring something a little different to the stage, and what we're doing is creating a community where it's just people are free to be themselves and feel safe, and that's really important because there really isn't that many safe spaces in the industry.
True.
I find that you want to, when you're having a good time, and you want to be around people you're comfortable with. So
right.
that's really part of the experience, and a lot of times when you're consuming too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I met you and Matt, even though we talked online, I believe I talked to Matt a while, and we went to your brunch.
Yeah.
One of the best events that I've gone to.
Thank you so much.
It was so much fun. From
had so much
the
fun,
performers, from the egg company, I can't remember.
Egg Club, they're Japanese Egg Club.
They're great sandwiches.
Oh my God, I know, right?
Messy
So
House
good.
was a nice event.
Yeah.
Space for it.
We loved it. We love Messy House, but also we've kind of changed up the event space just because we wanted to accommodate more guests, and it was great for that event, and we were so happy with the performances and the food. And funny enough, we actually had gotten the Egg Club stuff because Matt had an experience when he lived at Lakeshore that he used to get that exact sandwich every morning, so it was almost nostalgic. And then we had also gotten the beef patties for the fact that we both worked at Tokyo Smoke 333 Young. And if you work there, you go to Patty's Express and you get the cocoa bun.
I was
like
wondering
everybody.
why you had the beef patties there too, but it was a great experience. I enjoyed it. It was nice that the ticket and a lot of these events, being an event person, and being an event attendee or worker shooting them, they don't have an attraction.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, pay some money, come to our show, sit around, smoke. There's
That's been my
nothing
experience,
to
too.
bring it out.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. That's what we were trying to achieve with, even when we started events, was like, well, especially as a younger person, I'm probably not going to be able to afford housing and other things that a lot of people are looking forward to in life. So what do I put my money into? And that's experiences. And so that's what Matt and I really wanted to focus on when we were creating events, is creating like a whole experience. When you go, it's like you're consuming, and that's part of it, but it's not everything. And I think that's where we really differentiated ourselves with a bunch of different events. It's like cannabis is a big part of it, but it's only a part of it.
So is the art.
Yeah,
The art. It's nice.
all an aspect.
Being a photographer, the art in our cannabis and Health Canada, there's none.
Yeah.
None. The packagings
100%.
are bland. Everything, you can't focus, on your Instagrams or your socials.
Totally.
You can't show people smoking. You
my
can't.
God, I
You
know.
can just show the package, which are boring and lame.
Yeah.
And
100%.
you are bringing in the art aspect of it.
Yeah.
Without, hey, here's a brand. But you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
bringing in the art community to try and create more art for this cannabis.
For sure, and I think it's also part of the fact that there are tons of creatives that consume cannabis, and that doesn't necessarily mean they work directly in the industry. And so we wanted to connect with people who just connected with cannabis, but it was part of their lifestyle, not necessarily like sometimes I think people look at it as like it's a whole lifestyle. I think it's part of a lifestyle, and that's the biggest difference is you can be a graphic designer or a photographer or a painter, and cannabis is part of those aspects, right? And I think that's where we really connected a lot of things, but that's our audience. And then, you know, Matt and I too, like he comes from theater school as like in directing, and I come from OCAD doing like photography and like illustration.
Fashion.
And I love fashion.
I am usually the extra out of the groups of people, and you are way extra today than I am.
I like,
It
you
is-
know me though.
It's a
I,
Sunday. I'm like,
always-
I'm not getting dressed up.
I
have my deadhead moth. I'm like, I'm good. I'll be in my little gothic-y phase right now.
also think it's the thing with ADHD, because like I also like if I dress up, I'm like somebody has to see the outfit. It's almost like a reward for me.
Everyone will
So,
see it.
so I'm like, you know, I love dressing up. It's one of my favorite things, and it's a great way to express yourself. And I think a lot of people that I look up to like really do dress up, and just inspire me so much. And it's just like you kind of get to know somebody without actually like necessarily meeting them sometimes.
Right.
You know, you're like, who is that?
So, June 17th?
June 17th. Yeah. So
Okay.
next Saturday.
Make sure you get your tickets.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. We have Ace Dillinger and we have DJ Abstracts.
Okay.
And we have a few drag performances. Kimura is coming back
Of
from
course.
the brunch, so there will be
Awesome.
some burlesque as well.
Is it the same location that it
Yeah.
was before?
So Coin 8 is where it's going
Awesome.
to be, so DuPont and Ossington. And we're excited because that space just has fit our vibe a lot.
I love that space from every event that I've gone to.
Yeah, and it's smoke friendly, which is so
Right.
great. And we love that because we focus a lot on edibles and other like formats, but you know, people love smoking. I love smoking.
Right.
We're gonna smoke today, so
Yes,
I mean.
we are. This will be my 4th bong rip.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Oh, man.
So
I'm not going to die. I'm learning. I'm getting better. Primo stuff hit me pretty good, though. This stuff, though, Dustin's stuff is probably going to lay me out.
yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what to expect.
I'm like pretty good with bongs. I'm known as the person who doesn't like cough that much. So I think you're gonna be impressed with me.
I'm
on the bongs.
I can be impressed with anybody since this is I can't judge anyone. This is my 4th bong rip ever. So.
Yeah, you're like.
But I'm also smoking on my Divi pen.
Yeah, it's really nice.
The
by
watermelon,
way.
it's super
yeah,
good.
So nice. It's like a really nice like light watermelon. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
feel
it's
like
not an
overwhelming.
over-strong like lemon
Yeah.
or like some of the
Yeah, it's very, like,
gassier,
subtle.
some of the more
Feels more natural.
chemically
Yeah,
tasting.
yeah, totally.
So
You're like,
this
is
was
kinda
nice. I'm like,
Kool-Aid-y.
watermelon is a very soft flavor.
Yeah,
So to capture that, it's
really nice.
definitely
and
a
I
hard
love
deal.
the whole team at Divi. So yeah.
I was just out at their planting party, which you were not.
I know. I was so sad to miss it.
We
Love
had-
you guys.
We had a lot of fun. Taking the bus up there, thanks to OPP and other people's pot, thanks
Yeah.
to all them. But yeah, it was a fun experience.
My old team.
I literally planted one plant because I'm not getting dirty.
Yeah.
Like someone commented, they're like, "You had to wear gloves." I'm like, "We had to wear gloves. They made us. I wouldn't have worn gloves anyways."
Yeah.
Because I'm not sticking my hand in dirt. So
I love gardening personally. I actually had my hands in dirt earlier, so because I had to transplant my kale. It's getting too big.
Yeah,
So.
no, I'm not having I have a plant growing right now, and she's getting big, and which you're getting a piece of.
Yeah, I'm so
We're
excited.
gonna propagate her, and yeah. So what else how did you bring in, like, what was the main idea for art in the cannabis?
I think actually how it all started is when I worked with Other People's Pot in December, there was just less work going on, and they were transitioning more into event space. And Matt had been working at a storefront, and he called me because we always kind of inspired each other, like photography-wise, and we were posting online, and we crossed paths so many times. We kept running into each other at events when I do like pop-ups and stuff because I go out to Niagara region. And he had sent me an edition of Guava Pussy, which is our friend's magazine.
Okay.
And after he sent that to me, he called me one night and he's like, what do you think if we did events together? And I was like, I'm so down. And then every night after that, we were like calling each other for 4 hours talking about what we could conceptualize and what we wanted to bring to the industry. And just because we hadn't found spaces like that, we had gone to like these events that it's great, you get to see everyone, but it almost feels like a mini expo of brands, and that does have its place 100%.
Right.
But then it's not as experiential for guests. It's like you're
It's
getting
just another smoking pit.
yeah,
area.
you're like, I'm getting weed and I'm getting to try it, and that's got its place and it's great. But then what if that included an experience? What if that included like a night you would remember, you know? And I think that's where that started. And then we were like, how can we put all these other aspects into it?
So what was that was the brunch your first event?
It was our second event.
Second event?
So the first one happened actually in December. It was New Year's Eve. And it happened at Messy House. And we actually had Kareem Olin Ash, who's like a well-known DJ in the ballroom scene. He was our headliner. We had Kiki, we had Sophie Jones.
Yep.
So we had a really good stack of DJs. And then we had actually like Sunday Market was part of it. They gave us like uninfused hot sauce and some other stuff. And we just like went from there, and we were like, we want more drag in it. We want more like performances.
Just growth.
Yeah, so we thought we always take notes after. We normally like, we're very like emotionally driven towards these events afterwards because it's just so much of our like emotional labor. But afterwards, we're like, okay, what could we do to improve? What was the good parts? What was the bad parts? What are the things we want to see more of?
Right.
And I think that's where it came from. Like the brunch is great, but it is also harder sometimes to get people out on like a morning, and you know, there's aspects to it, right? So
who really wants to get up that early?
We took a bunch of those things, and we always take feedback, and I think we're really open with that, which has been great, honestly. Like that's the whole thing about both Matt and I, is like you grow and you change and you learn from the things that work and don't.
That's good.
Yeah, it's like
That's
evolving.
Good. And you're already planning probably your next one.
I'm sure. For sure. And we're thinking about like, we think about things like 3 events ahead of time. Like we have these folders in Pinterest where we're like, oh, I got inspired by this. Like I said, like we, you know, when Matt isn't staying with me or we're not in the same space together, we're like calling each other every day being like, oh, I saw these napkins. I know that feeling,
you know, like too well with that one. Calling me all the time. She's an old person. Text me. If I didn't answer your phone call the first time, don't call me back, because I'm not going to just answer your phone the second time.
I know what you mean. I mean, like, it's funny.
I'll call you when I want to talk on the phone.
Totally. I mean, like, that's the thing. It has to work. Like, there's some days where you're like, I, like, need to focus on some other things and then, like, get back to it and get those inspirations in other ways. And sometimes I'm a very social person, so that could come from me going out and being like, wow, I saw this amazing thing. We need to apply that to what we're doing. Or like, I got inspired by this thing I saw online that I like want to infuse in our events and stuff like that. So it's just so experience based, and it's truly, it all started because it was the events P and Matt wanted to go to and we just couldn't find. And like, there's a lot of spaces where I was like, it's great, but it's just not like my vibe. And you know, you go out, like promise parties I love. And but they're like raves.
Okay.
So
I'm new to Toronto. What is a promise party?
So
all I can
every Sunday in the summer they do cherry beach parties.
Okay.
And then like quarterly they do bigger like parties, and it's all about the music, and it's just a community, and so creating that, it's special.
And then if it's indoors, then you can't smoke. So that's where the High Sprung comes in. You're taking all these fun parties and the aspects of that.
Yeah.
But then you find the consumption areas. That allows it.
Totally.
And you can bring it in, and they.
Yeah.
And Coin 8 does really well. They
great
have such a great vibe.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is like. Finding space that allowed that, but also like focusing on cannabis rather than it just being like alcohol and cannabis, which has its place together.
No, it doesn't.
But you know, for like not for me as much. I'm not somebody who drinks really. Like I really don't drink that often. So for me, I wanted a space that I could just like also know that everybody's consuming on one level and there's not going to be like crazy things happening because of it.
I've been to corporate parties.
Yeah.
Where in the weed space, and it's just sometimes shit show
100%.
when there's alcohol involved.
And some people don't know how to take it.
I enjoy the events. Even talking with my last guest, I enjoy the events that don't have booze.
Yeah, same. Same.
I'm not one to go to a big party bar with a bunch of drunk people.
It's a lot.
My anxiety will be like,
I know.
No, I've been here.
Whereas, like, if you're with, like, a bunch of stoners, you're like, oh, that guy's chilling on the couch over there. There's some munchies over there. Like, it's very chill. And then having that aspect, like, I think our last event was so successful because of, like, the runway, for instance, because it was so interactive with our guests and, like, people really feeling
Bringing
themselves.
your guests out, yeah.
Oh, yeah, like, and we want to do that all the time. I think showing our guests that they're special and, like, be able to, like, show off who they are, even if it's like just like they're striding down the runway and we're all cheering for them. Like, that feels amazing.
Right.
And I just want to bring those moments
out
to
of the
people's
little
lives
bit
more.
of the shell.
Yeah, and like just cherishing each other and supporting each other. That's what community is all about. So I want to create those moments where people really feel uplifted and they feel supported and they feel safe.
Right.
That's so
100%.
important.
And that's why, like, we get to work together at a creator night, which was done at the Darling Mansion.
It was so cool.
It was
so much
a super fun night. I think I'm going to save this one so I can photograph that later.
Yeah, of course. Hey, it's so pretty.
Because they're pretty. We get to work together, and I haven't posted any of the photos. You posted one just because I wanted to be able to sit down and do an interview with you so that we can show it off. And it's very 1920s arts, you know.
Yeah, I had so much fun doing it.
The Darling it's a 70s rock and roll mixed with porn.
Yeah, 100%.
Vibe. It's so much fun there. Every room is different.
It is so different.
Floor has everything going on. There's a lot to look at.
Yeah.
And then you just don't know. Like,
details.
unless you're planned, you have no idea what you're going into.
Especially if you haven't seen this space before, it's like there is a lot of going on just because it's like got those Victorian accents and like all the crown molding and stuff like that, where it's like just so many details, but it's really curated at the same time.
I feel like you need to do a Halloween show with Yaska.
Yeah, I know.
Their performance.
Oh my God, I sent that to Matt because he was at a city at the time, and I was like, I'm living for this. Like you literally like birthed a teddy bear. Like, I just can't.
Watch drag. Drag is one thing, and they took it to a whole nother realm.
Yeah.
Because you don't see their face. They're in a full blown costume.
It's so interesting. Because that's the thing, is there's that like standard of drag where it's like, oh, a beautiful presenting woman.
Right.
But then there's like all these offshoots that are so interesting. And I think that's where, even with our brunch too, there was more performance art. And sometimes people don't understand that. It's not necessarily for everyone though too.
No.
That's the best part.
And,
you know?
They were great.
Oh my God, I know, right?
The cake baby, the cake baby, after their performance, they were walking around, they're like, we don't know where to put this. Like a half-eaten baby.
The interesting part was like the meaning behind it, which was just about like being a person of color and feeling consumable in a lot of ways. And like, you know, a lot of the time when we're describing a person of color, it's like talking about like, oh, chocolate, this, and talking about that. So it was really interesting piece because a lot of people, I don't think necessarily understood that, but Mars is such an interesting performer. They do stuff at like kind of like theater events, and so it's very like
putting it right out into their face.
Yeah, it's not always palatable for everyone, but it's that's the thing with performance art. It's not necessarily meant to be palatable, and we wanted something that was like really different. But we're really into also like uplifting artists that are different. So like, yeah, I'd love to do a Halloween edition, and
bringing in a Halloween aspect will be so much more fun.
Oh my God, I'm a huge Halloween person too, because even last year, like, I was in drag.
And I already have a coffin, so.
I love that. Oh my, well, I might call you to borrow it.
Oh. If you get someone to carry it.
I can.
It is heavy.
I can, and you know what? It's funny because like last year I dressed up as Alley G.
Oh my god.
And
What?
yeah,
Like-
I have to show you pictures.
Oh my
I will
God.
send you pictures.
Oh my
It's
god.
hilarious.
Oh my god, that's so great.
I had the best time ever. I actually went to a concert dressed as Alley G too. And it was hilarious. Like I the entire night I just like got to go around and just like have my like little like swagger.
Right,
I
right.
ended up choosing a costume because I went to Value Village and I saw this bright yellow windbreaker and I was like,
Oh, that's an
feel
Alley G.
like I have to
that's
be
an
Alley G
right there.
I feel, and then I was like, I have all these
love
chains.
All of his stuff.
so
I
good.
don't think I've seen a show or a character that he's done that
Yeah.
I didn't like in some way.
It was so funny. Like I had most of the costume too. Like I had tons of chains and like rings and stuff, and I just wore like one glove. I will show you the costume because like I painted on a little beard, and like even my best friend Kiki was like, I didn't recognize you
And
for a
it's gonna
second.
go right here.
Yeah.
So what do you add to yourself? So what now? Like, what are you working on in the community area? In the aspect of the cannabis, like, what do you want to see happen?
I'd say for more growth and opportunities for people, because right now it just feels like kind of sometimes a little linear in
Yep.
growth. You know, I want to see more opportunities for education in like a positive, interactive way, because often we think we're investing in education, but sampling isn't the only education, and we need to make it fun for people on a store
Right.
level. But education to the public too. Like I want us to reach consumers and start to realize like we have to push forward into these spaces. I really want to see consuming lounges and other things come to fruition. I know that's going to be a huge push, but I think it's possible, and I think it's maybe not what everybody thinks it's going to look like either.
No, I don't think so.
So I'd like to see those opportunities come, but also like, you know, I feel like a lot of people get stuck in like I either have to work in retail or sales. And there should be so many more positions than that. We just haven't
100%.
thought of them yet in a lot of ways, you know.
Right, or accepted the people, like accepted the role, like more marketing. You can't really market
Yeah.
cannabis. It's hard.
It's very difficult.
Let
and
us put that noose around there, thanks to Health Canada.
Yeah.
That you can't do almost anything. So,
It's so tough.
especially for stores or brands, they can't, like, here's my bag.
I think there is ways to do it, but it is really tricky to navigate, and we're always having to find loopholes. And I think for creative people like you and me, like finding those opportunities to be able to be creative and like show our talents and be able to apply that to cannabis, because sometimes I think those opportunities are lacking. And you know, recently, for instance, I did like a product shoot with Matt for Relax, and I'm super excited about it because it's one of their new products dropping.
What is Relax? Do
They
tell.
They do like dried fruits. So all of the dry fruits that came out a bit ago, there was like the cauliflower chips and like dried cherries.
Sorry.
I love them, but it's,
Welcome to Bag Alley.
it's better. Yeah, they just go by. It's better like that like there was a different kind of product out there, because sometimes we get so stuck in chocolate and gummies. There's so many more things we could do.
Right.
So
Sugar,
that's what I loved about
sugar
Kim,
all the time.
the CEO. She's so cool. Like she's really like she's from Legacy. She really knows what she's doing. But they killed it in Quebec because they couldn't have any added sugar for edibles. So they did really well.
Okay.
They now just launched their blunt product, which gotta say the blunt paper is so good. It burns really well and it has a great flavor, and it's like 3.7s. And they're a really good price point. So those are the berry blends. I can't discuss what product I photographed yet, but I'm so excited about it.
Dried cauliflower.
Yeah, they were like chips.
I don't know.
I love cauliflower, but it's definitely a like acquired like.
But
you either love
even
it or
just
you don't.
the dried vegetables and fruit, that is
It's
a
unique.
whole different aspect, because everything myself knows we infuse salt and sugar, so everything salt wise or sugar wise, like some people can't have. So having and if you're you don't want to eat a lot of sugar, you're a little bit healthy, you're vegan, something.
Even
you
for
know
me,
what I mean?
like I love sugar, but like I sugar resistance and like insulin levels are not great in my family, so I'm always
Right.
looking for something that's a little healthier. And
Right.
I love beverages, so I'll go for beverages that aren't. They might not have complete no sugar, but like it's
Right,
lower,
it's
you know,
a little
like
lower. Like so, not a pop, but
Yeah.
more of a
maybe
a
like a spritzer or yeah, like, and there are some sweeter ones. Like I love the green monkeys as well because they're like lower sugar, but they still have
I've tried those.
some sugar. They're
Yeah.
refreshing and nice. So like I'm a huge drink girl, but then once in a while, I mean, like shout out to my friend Matt Cherkas. I like love sheesh so much.
I had one last night.
And I'm also a huge fan of Can. I mean, like they've been really supportive.
Yeah.
And I just love that's like a really nice balance where it's got some sugar, but it's not like overly sweet.
Okay.
And I'm a big CBD girl, so
Nice.
yeah.
Fun. Well,
Big THC girl, too.
Big THC girl, big CBD girl. Okay. Big party time.
Big cannabis girl.
Speaking of THC, let's try this.
Okay.
I have my lovely grinder from Tricks and Treasures I bought today.
So cute. It's so cute. I love anything pink, so.
Same.
I mean.
Both my ping pongs. Castle, we got this from Lyft. So, yeah.
I'm like jelly. I definitely should have dropped
Yeah,
by.
you should have been there.
I was at Lyft, but I just
Kind of
didn't
boring,
drop by.
but we got there the second day, and it took us like 2 hours just to get inside because everyone is outside.
Yeah.
So it's
you're
like
saying
the
hi to
whole
everyone.
everyone is like, hey, smoke here, hey.
I know.
And I'm like, all right, do I really want to walk around now?
I just went the third day, and then I like ran into a few friends, and I really was going there to meet like with Kim from Relax, and because she's from Vancouver, so I was like,
Okay.
I gotta have lunch with you.
Right.
And then we ran into Jai Paul, who's like the manager of Can Tonic. He's the new brand manager, and then Matt, who I like always talk Drag Race because he's a huge fan, and like we always are like, what are your notes? So
Okay.
that's been really fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like
sheesh?
yeah, he loves Drag Race.
Okay. All right.
He's literally seen Kahana live in Las Vegas. He was like for this last All Star season because she's on that season. He's like, oh, like I'm watching out for Kahana because she was amazing live. Like I was shook, and I was like, okay. And then I've been watching this season. I'm like, okay, you're right.
Doing pretty good. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I haven't watched a lot of the shows. So.
I just love Drag Race. I've been watching since season 1. It's
Okay.
me and my best friend. It's like that's like I don't watch a ton of TV, but that was like
I just like RuPaul. Drag or not, their
so entertaining.
whole person
Yeah.
is just super entertaining.
Oh, 100%.
And catty,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah, in the best way.
I'm like,
In the best
all right,
way. I
cool.
gotta say, I love Michelle Visage too. Like, she always looks amazing with her like little gray swoop these days. I'm like, I hope I look like that when I'm your age. Like, no shade, girl, if you ever watch this, but
Let's hope. All right, so we are going to smoke the random,
the mystery weed.
the mystery weed.
The really
from Dustin.
beautiful
Thank
mystery
you,
weed.
Dustin. It is so purple.
You haven't met me, Dustin, but thank you for smoking me.
When he is in Ontario, I will introduce
Yeah,
him. He would
totally.
probably have fun at your events.
Oh my God, who doesn't though? For real,
That's true.
It's so
That's
fun.
true. All right. Fuck.
You ready?
No, I'm never fucking ready. I'm glad I don't have anything to do afterwards. All right. So, yeah, you should have gotten a Castle Bong.
I know. I missed that big time.
How do you smoke your bongs?
I
Give me
normally
some
just, like,
pointers.
Let out my breath right away, and then if I feel like it's getting overwhelming, I pull out the bowl just so I can, like, you know.
Oh, okay.
But I normally also don't pack like a huge bowl either, because then, you know, you can always pack more.
Okay, well,
But you can, like,
whatever.
you know, I like pulling through most of the time.
It's
So-
fuck. All right.
Have a little bit of water.
Fuck.
Always have the drink after, too. That's good stuff, though. Right away.
Made my eyes water. Fuck.
It is strong, though.
All right, I don't see me doing anything for the
Can you
rest
tell
of the
I'm
night.
a bong girly, though? I like literally.
Yeah, shut up.
I've been, you know what it is? When you're in a small
Whoa.
town, you only can like make like water bongs. It's just like that, or like you're smoking through apples. And I feel like
Country.
well, I'm from a really small town. Like I grew up in a town of like 2,000 people. So
Where?
when do you know Hillsburg by any chance?
No.
Erin by any chance?
I know where Erin
Okay,
is.
so it's part of Erin Township, and it's technically considered a village, but it used to be bigger than Erin, like back in the day. But it's crazy because it's so small, and so like we would do like water buckets with like 2-liter bottles of.
What?
So when you're like water buckets, so you like fill a like bucket full of water, and then you cut off like a 2-liter bottle of pop, and you kind of melt the like screw-on lid, and you put the bowl through it. So you light it, and as you pull it up, it like starts pulling the smoke like a vacuum,
Oh, okay.
and then you kind of fill that and like breathe it in.
It's the weirdest thing you've ever smoked out of then. Besides your country bong.
I'd say a cucumber probably.
What?
It worked. It worked. It wasn't the best because like cucumber's juicy. It probably wasn't the best idea, but we were like,
Ugh.
well, but it worked. It worked. It did catch a lot of the like ash though as like a pipe, so it wasn't so bad.
Okay.
We just like took a straw, poked it that way, poked it a little bit at the top, and tinfoil, little,
Fucking creative out in the country.
You got it when you're like in high school, and like I didn't really start smoking weed till I was 17, and I was almost like going into my last year. But by the time I was really smoking weed, I was already like living on my own in Toronto, and I like had just turned 18.
You can buy an actual bong, not a cucumber.
Yeah. Well, at that time too, my parents had like kind of been like, "Oh, we smoke weed too."
Your parents are great.
My
I
parents.
met them at the last event.
I love my parents, and I'm so blessed to have them because they're so supportive of me and cannabis, which I think doesn't happen for a lot of people. But they also love smoking weed, and I think like when I was little, they were like, "Okay, well, we got to worry about what they're saying at school and like not show our kids necessarily smoking weed," which it's a mix. Like I feel like when kids know and they're like, it's my parents' like thing and it's more for adults, it's almost better in a lot of ways.
Okay.
I don't know. My parents were always so open with like alcohol. They were like, if you want to go to a party, and then they get me like wine spritzer that has absolutely nothing in it. But, I also didn't want to drink because my parents were so open about it. And I didn't really start smoking weed until my brother, he kind of guilt tripped me into it because my brother has Crohn's. He's 2 years younger. And he was like, it's the only thing that helps me like eat and like sleep, like smoke with me. And I was like, okay. And then basically, I smoked weed, and I was like, this is great. I don't know why everybody is so against it. Because when you're in a small town, they like make you be part of like anti-drug clubs.
Yeah.
Too.
I grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dare
and all that.
Yeah. I had the chicken club. Don't be chicken, say no to drugs.
Oh, you were way more country than I was. Or at least I didn't go to those. I don't remember them.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's crazy to think about. But my parents also joked about it. They were like, you guys were little narcs. We weren't going to tell you.
Oh, yeah. They didn't trust you guys. Well, no one trusts children.
We figured it out eventually. Like, I smoked weed, and I went to my Aunt Sarah's house in Port Dover. And for years, I'd be like, why does Aunt Sarah's house smell weird? And my parents would tell me it was special incense. And when I smoked weed and I went there, I was like, oh, Aunt Sarah smokes a lot of weed. Okay. That makes sense. And I never correlated it till I like had smoked weed. And then I was like, whoa, mind blown. And then it turned out like everyone pretty much did in my family, so.
You were welcomed into the club.
Yeah, I was like, but my brother did get to smoke with my parents first, which I'm always like.
And he's younger than you. You're like.
I'm like, I'm the firstborn. It was my right. But I'm also like, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, now they smoke with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, will they be at High Sprung?
I don't know. I'm like, I haven't asked them to come yet. They would come but they're quite
Miranda's
busy,
parents, you need to come on Saturday.
I will get them
at
to
Coin
come.
8.
Yeah.
What time does it start?
8 o'clock. Or I think, I think it's 9 o'clock this one. Let me check.
You're pushing that I'm not leaving the house because it's after 9.
I should know this.
You should know this.
Sorry. I'm just checking.
But High Sprung, I will be there. Mm-hmm. Lucy will be there. Coin 8 Studios, such a great place. A lot of great acts. And do you know what time it is? What time? Do you even know? You don't?
What?
How does your post? You need to watch my last show. We talked about social media.
9.
Oh, it starts at
I
9.
was right. I'm sorry. I have ADHD and I'm worried for
And you're
a
high.
second.
But awesome. So this Saturday, June 17th.
At 9 p.m.
9 p.m. It's the Pride event.
Mm-hmm.
We will be there.
Yeah.
So
There will be a lot of people there, and I think there's going to be a performance by Mish.
She is great.
Marina, who is like a fabulous queen.
Okay.
And Minnie will be hosting again, so
Of course.
we love Minnie. Yeah, and it's just going to be really like a chill night, chill vibe, like it always is.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
So, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And now we got to go propagate my plant so that she can take some and
I'm excited
actually see which one was better. Which one's grown better? The person that has no green thumb and can kill a cactus, or the gardener?
I have a decent garden, but I'm not the gardener.
I have
completely.
a plant. That's all that I have.
Well, I'll give you some tomato plants.
Okay. They grow up, don't they?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay, they're fine. All right.
Cool.
This is what happens. But thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We're gonna go.